Hello. Hello.
Yes, yes, Priya.
सर ने बोला है ना कि वो कुछ टाइम में ज्वाइन करेंगे.
Okay.
Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon, sir.
Yeah. Right.
Sir, screen is not visible, please.
Yeah,
Please
yeah,
show.
yeah. One second, one second. There's some small problem. I'm trying to fix it. One second. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Okay. 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 So I asked you to read this, right? Did you go through this part? Stacks and
Yes,
views.
sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
So I
sir.
asked you to go through this because it saves a little bit of time for me also. It has been written very nicely, and there are also figures and diagrams drawn nicely here. So it will save some time for me. I don't have to draw it again. Okay, so let's do this. Yesterday we saw stacks and queues, and basically what is the difference? Stack is like uh, stacking books inside a box. Remember, that's the example I gave you. And queue is like standing for queue in it. in a ticket line or something like that, right? So what does that example really mean? And these two words are what are important, the distinction between a stack and a queue, right? So in a stack, so imagine you're putting books inside a box. Okay, you put 4 books inside an empty box. Book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4, one on top of the other, right? So which was the last book that you kept in the box? Book 4, right? That is the last one that went in to the stack. Now if you have to remove books from the box, which one will you remove first? You can remove book 4 first, right? Because that is the one on the top. So the one that went last in is the one that will come first out, right? So that is the basic principle of stack. Last in, first out. It's sometimes called LIFO. Okay, because there is only one entry point, which is also the exit point in a stack. You keep stacking elements one on top of the other, and therefore naturally the last thing that you put in will be the first thing that you can take out, right? Now in a queue it's different because there is an entry point and an exit point, different, correct? So you can process it sequentially. So the first thing that you put in, the first guy who joins the ticket queue for a train ticket will be the first guy who gets the train ticket and leaves the queue, right? The second guy who joined the queue will be the second guy to get the train ticket and leave the queue, correct? The order does not change. So the first guy who goes in will be the first guy who comes out, right? Because he enters first through the entry point and exits through the exit point. There are 2 points. There is an entry and an exit point in a queue, correct? So the principle of queue is now first in, first out. The guy who goes first will also come out first, and that's called FIFO. Okay, so we have seen examples of these two yesterday. I did some drawings and showed you, correct? So just have a look at those later when you get time. But even here there are some diagrams. So let's look at this one. Okay. So this is an example of a stack S. Okay. Currently at the moment there are 4 elements in this stack: 15, 16, 2, and 9. Okay. And what I called as head, remember the head pointer, they are calling it top, S dot top. Okay, the top pointer of S. Okay, so I will interchange between these notations. Okay, I might call it head, I might call it top. Okay, these are all the same thing and you should be understanding what I mean. Okay, there should not be any confusion. Okay, so S dot top is here. So don't look at the remaining 2 images, just look at this image, just the figure A, and tell me which side is the stack open. A stack has only one entry point, right? Entry and exit through the same opening. Which side is the stack open?
Left side.
Close that. Left side. Think again. The way you arrange books inside a box. And the way the top pointer or the head pointer stays in a stack. We saw this example yesterday. I think one of you made the same mistake yesterday also. Was it the same person? I don't know. But anyways, think about it and tell me from where did the elements enter? These numbers 15, 6, 2, 9, these were not numbers and these were books.
From
So they
the
should have
right hand
entered.
side.
Yeah, they should have entered from the right because the 15th element, the element 15 will go and get stuck here. Then the element 6 will go from the right and get stuck here because 15 is already here, it cannot go any further. Then the element 2 will come from right and get stuck here because it cannot go any more left because 15 and 16 are already there. And then the element 9 will come and get stuck here. And each time the top element points to the top. Correct? So all you need to know in order to understand which side the opening is to look at the top pointer and see where the other elements are. The elements are all to the left. Correct? So the opening has to be to the right. This is the top side. The right side is the top side because things come inside from there and go outside there as well. Okay. So in figure B, what they have done now is they have added two more elements, 15, 16, 2, 9. The next element got added again, 17 from the right, and it got stuck here. Then the top element S dot top pointer became 5 because that's the index position, right? That's another way to see. The numbering of the index positions will be from the bottom to the top. Right? So that's where the opening is, where the highest index is, that direction. Okay. So 17 gets stuck at index 5, then 3, and now S dot top is 6 because the 6th position is the top element. Okay. Now in figure C, what do we do? So this is something that we did yesterday, but let me explain it once again in this figure. After figure B, look at this stack S, and now we will remove 3. But you don't really have to mention which element to remove, right? Stack always removes the top element. So you simply remove an element from the stack. What does it do? It will remove the element and reassign the top pointer. The top pointer S dot top will have to go down to 5, right? That is what happens. That is what is happening here also. So S dot top becomes 5, and now the value is 17. And now you are wondering why is the 3 here? Why did it not go away? Okay. Now this is something that happens inside computers or in memory locations, which is that when you don't want an element, when you want to remove it, you don't really have to delete it in the sense of eraser leke nikal do. You don't have to do that kind of thing. You only have to remove the pointer to it. Once you remove the pointer to it, it is forgotten. It is as good as not being there. So S dot top pointer moved from 6 to the position 5. And now S dot top indicates how much the stack is. Right? S dot top is at 5. And the elements are to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The elements in these locations comprise the stack. The element at the 6th location does not matter. It is as good as a blank entry because S dot top is not pointing to it at all. And there is no element to the right of location 6 which is in the stack. S dot top stops at 5. So the stack only looks at elements up to 5, up to index 5. Right? Everything else is gone. Is this distinction clear? You don't really have to erase. You only have to reassign the pointer in order to remove an element. Okay? So this was slightly more technical detail than what we saw last time, yesterday. Okay. Now here's the thing. Now these are 2-3 definitions that you should know. So when S dot top is equal to 0, okay, notice what is the index begins from 1. So if S dot top is equal to 1, then there will be a pointer here. You see where my mouse pointer is right now? That is exactly where S dot top will be. And it has an element 15. So it will be a stack with top element 15 with just one element at the location 1. Empty stack really means that even this should not happen. The stack pointer S dot top should be even to the left of this. Now look at where my mouse pointer went. It went to the left of 1. So S dot top will be assigned the value 0 when the stack has no elements. Okay, so the stack is empty if and only if S dot top is equal to 0. That's the one thing to understand. Next, two more notations here, right? So what we said insert yesterday, they are calling it push. They're pushing an element into the stack. Okay, like you're pushing a book into a box. Okay, and removing or deleting an element is called pop. You're popping the stack. Okay, you will pop out the top element of the stack. It pops out. Okay, it gets removed. That is the idea. So as you see, when we had to insert, we had to say what value we had to insert, right? So that's why push into the stack S the value 17. Okay, 17 gets inserted. But when you want to remove, you don't have a choice. You just say pop S, it will pop out the topmost element. That's all. Okay. So once again, push and insert, I will use interchangeably. Pop, delete, remove, I will use interchangeably. Okay. You should understand what it means. All right. So now, if we attempt, so I'm reading from here. If we attempt to pop an empty stack, okay, it's an empty stack, and you say pop S. You give this instruction, pop S, remove from S. There is nothing. There's nothing to remove because S dot top is equal to 0. Right? So then what do we say? We say that the stack underflows. That's the definition. Stack underflows because there is nothing to remove, and this will give you an error. There is no element that gets thrown out. This will give you just an error message. Right? Similarly, what is the length of the stack? The stack length has maximum length 7. There are 7 possible. Okay, yesterday I think I mentioned it as height, but it could also be mentioned as length or depth. Okay, so these things are again interchangeable. I'll use one of these words interchangeably. So this height is 7 right now. So the S dot top pointer can go to the location at most 7. It cannot become 8 because there is no space. So if you assign S dot top is equal to 8, that is more than n, n is 7, then again we'll give an error and we'll say that the stack overflows because the S dot top pointer is going beyond its range. Okay. That is the idea. So now let's look at the code, the pseudo code for each of these things that we have seen. Okay, so now I hope you are getting familiar with the idea of a pseudo code. Simple set of instructions written in simple language but precise language. Okay, they are written in a way that once you know what the pseudo code is, you can write down the program in any language. Okay, that is what the pseudo code's function is. This should be precise. That's all. So stack operation. Stack empty and the argument is S. What is this supposed to do? Stack empty will give you an answer true or false. If the stack is empty, it will say true. If the stack is not empty, it will say false. Okay. So stack empty bracket S. Argument is S. Okay. When is the stack S empty? Exactly when S dot top is 0. When the top pointer is 0. So that is what we check. If S dot top is equal to 0, note the difference. When we say S dot top is equal to 0, here it's single equal, it's an assignment. But double equal, we are not assigning a value to S dot top, we are only comparing the value that is already there in S dot top with the value 0. That's all. So you compare S dot top with 0, and if they are equal, then the stack has to be empty, and so you return the value true. You return in the sense give output. Okay, output is 2. If that is not the case, else, when you say else, it means this condition is not true. So else, which means S dot top is non-zero, which means the top element is something non-trivial. It's at least 1. The top pointer is at least 1, which means there is some element in the stack, which means the stack is non-empty. So you return false. Alright. That's all there is. Now push is very, very easy, right? What do you do here? So let's just look at this example. You push the element 17. So from figure A to figure B, S dot top is equal to 4 in figure A. Now you push the element 17. What do you do? You have to increase S dot top to the next position 5. So S dot top is S dot top plus 1. And then at the location 5, you enter the value 17. So S at the value S dot top, at the index S dot top, takes the value 17. Right? That's all that is being done. So push S comma X, push the element X into the stack S. First thing you do is S dot top increases by 1. So S dot top is equal to whatever it was before, S dot top plus 1. Now the pointer has come to the correct location. Then at the correct location, you enter the new value. So S at S dot top is equal to X. And this completes the push operation, the insert operation. Okay. Similarly, pop. Now you have to remove an element. Okay. So when you have to remove an element, the only thing you have to check is that the stack is not empty. So if it is not empty, you can remove. If it is empty, you cannot remove, right? So that's what you check. If stack empty S. Okay. And you don't have to write if stack empty S is equal to true or something. You can write that if you want, but this is a short form. If you simply write stack empty, if stack empty S, it means that you are looking for the true value of this. Okay. By default, you will assume that it's true. So if stack empty S is true, which means the stack is empty, then you cannot remove anything, you cannot pop. So you give the error underflow that we just saw. Else, which means stack is not empty, stack empty of S is false. It is false, so there is some element already, so S dot top is at least 1. So now you can remove. How do you remove? So let's go to figure B and look at this again. You remove the element 3 from the stack to get figure C. What did you do? You don't have to delete or erase or anything, do anything with this element, right? You just have to reassign the pointer. S dot top becomes S dot top minus 1, goes to the location 5, and then everything to the right of S dot top is forgotten. It is as good as removed, right? So that's all you do. So else, if the stack is not empty, S dot top is equal to S dot top minus 1. Right? And then they said return S at S dot top plus 1. What does that mean? You are not removing any element now. That element is erased. What this last line is saying is, basically you remove the element at the top of the stack, and now you tell me which element you remove. Okay, so it's just returning the value of the element that just got removed. Okay, so S dot top got reassigned to 1 less. Therefore, the value that got removed is at the next location to the right. So it's now the current value of S dot top plus 1. Okay, so earlier S dot top was 6. You remove the element at the location 6 by reassigning S dot top to 5. But now you want to tell me which element you remove. You want to tell that you remove the value 3, which means you have removed the value at the location S dot top plus 1. Right? And that is what this line says. This is the value that we remove. Okay? That is what this is. Alright? So I hope all of this is clear now. And the last line, each of these stack operations takes order 1 time, big O 1 time. I want you to check this on your own. Okay? Big O 1 time. Each of these steps, every single line step here is taking value, taking time 1, constant. Okay? Some constant C or big O 1. Now you have to confirm that each of these 3 will take together, each of these 3 each will take total time order 1. Okay, I want you to confirm that. So that's an exercise, checking the runtime. Correct? So that is it about stack, not much. So now let's go to queue. Okay, queue is a little more involved. Right? So now again they are having new names. So I will again introduce you to these new names. So the insert operation is sometimes called enqueue, and the delete or remove operation is sometimes called dequeue. Okay? And dequeue is like the pop operation this time. It is removing the element at the head, at the top of the queue. Okay, so here they say head and tail. That is what we were also saying. But I can also say top and bottom. Okay, so you should get familiar with these interchangeable terms. There should not be any confusion. So now look at figure A here. This is a queue. Q dot head is this, and so the total range of indices available to us is 1 to 12. So the maximum possible height of the queue can be only 12. Okay, these are only as many locations available to us. All right. So as you saw last time, the first thing is q dot head is pointing to the box at which you have the top element, and q dot tail will always point to the element box just after the bottom element. Okay, not at the bottom element, just after the bottom element. We saw this yesterday also. Okay, check yesterday's video. Q dot tail will give me the address of the box just after the last element. Is that okay? Right. So now if you look at this, look at figure A. Forget figure B and C. Just look at figure A and tell me if I have to add a new element. So if I have to enqueue, if I have to push an element, if I have to insert an element, at which location will it go? At which location will it get inserted?
From backside.
Yeah, from backside, but exactly what is the location for this example? At which index or address or location, where exactly will the next element be saved?
Well,
Yeah, location number 12, right? So what does that mean? The new element, whenever you enqueue, the new element gets stored at the location q dot tail, at the current location of q dot tail, and then q dot tail will be changed to the next possible location. Okay, that is the idea. So here they have given a very nice example. So let me just show you that. Okay, so from A to B, what all happens? Many things are happening. So first you inserted the element 17. Okay, so that is like enqueue q17, or push q17, or insert q17. Okay, what did it do? It inserted the element 17 into the location q dot tail, and it increased q dot tail by 1. Increased, right? When a person enters a queue, the length of the queue increases by 1. Correct? It increased q dot tail by 1, but then there is no 13th index, right? So we are working modulo 12. It's just like working with a clock. After 12 a.m. you get 1 p.m., right? So you think of this as, after this the next box is from the left. Okay, that is how you look at it. So q dot tail, when it is equal to 12, you have to increase it technically, but you cannot increase it to 13. So you come back to 1. So q dot tail becomes 1. Then you insert 3. Then you say nqq3. So 3 gets inserted at the location of q dot tail, which is 1. And now q dot tail increases by 1 again, and q dot tail becomes 2. Then you say nqq5, or insert q5, or add q5, or push q5, right? Then 5 gets added at the location of q dot tail, which was 2, and then q dot tail increases to 3. Okay, So, and therefore now the head is 7 and the tail is 3. Even though the tail is supposed to be to the right, but that's because this has winded around to the other side. Okay. So is this clear? Figure B, why you have q dot tail is equal to 3 and q dot head is equal to 7.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now if you have to remove an element, you have to deq, you have to pop, or you have to remove, or you have to delete from q. What will you delete? You cannot choose an element to delete. It always deletes the element at the head, just like you did in the stack. The element that is at the head or at the top gets removed, and the top pointer, the head pointer, gets reduced by 1. Reduced by 1 with respect to the queue structure or the stack structure. Right. So look at this. So now q dot head is 7, the value at the top is 15. So you remove this element, but removing once again does not mean you have to erase something. You just have to reassign the pointer. But the queue has grown this way, right? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 1, 2. That is the way in which the index of the queue has grown, right? So the top is 15. You remove this, which means you reassign the head to the next location. To the one just after the head, the one below the head actually, but since the queue grew this way, the element below the head is at location 8 and not 6. It's at location 8. You see, queue can grow both ways. It depends on where head is and where tail is. That's all. Right? So q dot head is now 8. So what do? Q dot head is equal to q dot head plus 1. 15th element is forgotten, and then you have the new q which starts at 6. That's all. So is that clear how you remove the top element from the queue?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So read this part a little more carefully just to understand. If in case you're getting confused with the index and this, why it's q dot head plus 1 and not q dot head minus 1. Okay. It could become q dot head minus 1 if the queue was growing in this direction, from right to left, the way I'm moving my pointer. If it's going from right to left, then q dot head would have become minus 1. But the queue was growing from left to right. Now the way I'm moving my pointer was going from left to right. So q dot head became plus 1. Okay. And that is what they have written here now once again. Okay. So NQ, which is insert. So Q at Q dot tail. Q dot tail points to the first immediate empty box, right? So at Q dot tail you insert the value x, and now you have to increase it by plus 1, but then just this thing, this modular arithmetic. 12 at 12 you cannot make it 13, you have to make it 1, right? So that's what you're comparing. So if Q dot tail is equal to 12 when you compare it with the length, if it is equal to the length, then you don't increase it by 1, you make it 1 itself. You make q dot tail is equal to 1. If not, then you still have more room to go to the right side. So q dot tail is equal to q dot tail plus 1. That's what we saw in the example. Similarly, when you have to deq, when you have to remove, when you have to pop, or when you have to delete an element, right? What do? So you have to remove the element at the head. Okay. So again here, as per what they are writing, you remove the element and you tell which element you have removed. Okay. So that is why you are storing this element in a location x. Okay. So which element gets removed? The element at the head. So q at q head, q dot head is the element x. You store it in a new variable. You do nothing with it. At the end, you will just declare. You will just return that value. You say this is the element that has been removed. Okay. So return x comes at the end. In between, what do? In between, nothing. So if q dot head is equal to q dot length, again, if the head was here at this location, the q grew, in the wrapping fashion, right? So the next head will be here. Right? So that is exactly what you're doing here. If q dot head was length, q dot length, then the new head is just 1 after that, but it's after wrapping around, so it's q dot head equal to 1. Otherwise, there was more room, and therefore q dot head became q dot head plus 1. Is that okay? All right. So this was all about stacks and queues. All right. So what I want you to do now is, there are these exercises. So this book all of you have, right? These exercises 10.1 to 10.11 to 10.17. Okay, think about this. Probably 10.16 and 10.17 is a little more involved, but still think about it. But at least you should be able to write everything from 10.11 to 10.15. Okay, so try these exercises. We will look at these in the tutorial tomorrow afternoon. Sorry, day after tomorrow afternoon. Right, Friday we have a tutorial, right? So day after tomorrow afternoon we'll look at these, but try these problems. Okay, and now let me introduce one more notation. So the queue, as they have written it here, you see the queue is growing from left to right. Right, the index is increasing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 12. It's growing from left to right. So in our course, I will introduce this distinction. I will say that the queue is growing from left to right or growing in ascending fashion. Okay, when I say this, it means the queue is growing this way. But I can also say that the queue is growing from right to left or growing in a descending fashion. Then you see, then all of these things will get reversed. Q dot head will be to the right of Q dot tail, and then elements are added to the left, 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 left. Okay, so for a queue growing from right to left or in a descending fashion, I want you to write down the corresponding NQ and DQ operations, the pseudocode. Just by looking at this, you'll be able to write down that as well. Is that okay? Can you do that? I want these two ready tomorrow itself. Okay, from right to left or in descending fashion when the queue is growing, what will be the NQ and DQ operations, the pseudocodes. Okay, I want you to just think about it and write them down. It's not very difficult, but this will be good practice for you to write down a pseudocode. There isn't much. You'll have to make +1 to -1, or you'll have to do a check a little differently. That's all. Not too much of a difference. But think about it and do it on your own. Is that okay? So that's what I wanted to show you basically. I don't want to start a new thing. So from what we have seen so far, if there is any doubt, you can ask now. Otherwise, we'll stop. Okay, we'll go to linked list tomorrow. Linked list is more involved. It takes some more time. So any questions? Any doubts?
Sir, first question, it is similar to what you have explained, that one only, no?
Yeah, right. It's written, illustrate the result, right? So you have to write down what is the output, what you will get as the answer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so these are the things that you have to do. Try the exercises. Okay, we'll do them in the tutorial on Friday, but you have to try the exercises on your own. For tomorrow, right?